What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Respect and Pray Show. I am your host, Miguel Mike Medina, Triple M. On this episode, I have this guy that I got to meet a while back when we did a commercial shoot together. And, we stayed connected through social media, but I'm seeing that he's doing so much work in film and on television. I was surprised that to see him in Inside Amy Schumer, but I just had to get him because he seems like a cool guy, and he's doing phenomenal work. So I needed to have him on the show, and hopefully I can collaborate with him at some point in the future. But check this out. This is a good interview. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to present to you Marcus R. Smith. Marcus, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. We met when we did that commercial. I think that was in Brooklyn, I believe, or in downtown man.
Yeah, I was thinking way back. Yeah, downtown Manhattan. It's yeah, it was a while ago, but it's it's great to see a familiar face, man. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I gotta start from the top. When did you fall in love with acting or modeling?
Yeah, I would honestly say so. Just like a little bit about my story and all that. So, I kind of I feel like I've always been artistic growing up. I did like a lot of, small little plays in like middle school and whatnot. And in high school, I did this directing course where I got to make like little music videos with my friends and like little short films. So I'd say, and also just growing up, I've always, I always used to read like a lot of fantasy books and stuff like that. So I'd say honestly, I've always had this kind of desire to storytell, and I've always had a love for movies, that specific medium of storytelling. So that's really kind of something that's been building within me, and something that I took more seriously when I came to New York. There was a lot, a period during my earlier part of my life where I was like, I don't know if this is like a realistic career choice per se. But the more I got involved in the community, a little bit later, kind of in college, the more I saw people doing it, and realizing, there's like a path to doing it. There's avenues of storytelling, and I took my uh acting class like for fun in college, and that's kind of where the bug bit me and started kind of rolling from there. And then after that, I moved up to New York City and kind of got involved in the community here, and started off acting, taking acting classes, had friends making short films and whatnot. And yeah, just got more involved in that, got started auditioning. Modeling kind of just came as like kind of a side hustle per se. I had a friend at the time, and his girlfriend was in advertising, and she was like, "Oh, you have like these headshots from acting. Like send me a few, and like I'll send them out to people who are doing, these modeling shoots and clients and stuff like that, and see if they want to book you for that." And that's what I did and what happened. And I remember my first modeling shoot was like this. It was like this sunglass company in Brooklyn called like Brooklyn Spectacles or something like that. And that was my first shoot ever. And I didn't really have a desire necessarily to get into it, but it's something that kind of organically happened. And it's a very similar industry to acting, just how like the agents work and the business side and whatnot. So it was easy to kind of work into what I was already doing and kind of just have it there. And it was a lot of great experiences have came through it. But I'd say right now, primarily I love storytelling in the medium of like film TV specifically. But yeah, it's a long-winded answer for you.
No, that's perfect. Where do you took acting classes?
When did I take them, or where?
Or what school?
Yeah, so I didn't actually, funny enough. So um I went to college, but not for acting. I went to college for business. And this is going back towards like that pragmatic route that I was talking to you about. Um and and yeah, and so I went to George Washington University, and they did have a theater program there. And just as an elective, I was like, yo, F it, let's try it. And so I took an acting class as an elective there. And then really like after that, when I came to New York, there's a bunch of different studios in New York City that I trained at. I was talking to somebody the other day in terms of like, yeah, you can go to college for it, or you can go to these like independent studios and they have their own kind of like smaller programs. You can do month to month like scene study, or you can do like coaching, individual coaching. And my route was more of like the independent studios, like do month to month scene studies from different studios, and then also just like the coaching. So it wasn't like I was in a college program for it. I kind of just picked it up from different acting teachers from different studios. One of them was T. Schreiber Studio in New York City. Another one of them is the Anthony Avison Studio. And yeah, I found like different studios focus on different things. Some stuff is more like theater based, some stuff is more film and TV. And it's kind of, for me, it was like a kind of a buffet, you know what I mean? Like just taking what I felt like I needed at the time and like kind of building it together and kind of coming up with my own style. So yeah, it was just kind of like me just kind of passionate about it, like figuring it out. Like nobody just handed me all the keys together, but I was just like, and I'm still piecing it together. Like even though I view acting classes as like being in the gym, and I'm taking acting classes even right now. Like even though I have representation, I'm like getting smaller TV stuff. I feel like I can still get better, and so I'm still working towards that and just challenging myself to do better and stuff like that in terms of the levels I can reach emotionally, and just the stories I want to tell, and just exploring my own instrument and what I can do and what I could do better and stuff like that. So yeah, man. So I'm still on the journey. I mean, it's an ongoing journey, but but yeah.
And speaking of TV, I saw that you were in Inside Amy Schumer. How did that come about?
Yeah, so that came about straight up just honestly through my agent. I have, it's kind of funny because it's more of a the majority of work I've done is more on like the independent film side, just doing like these smaller independent film roles. And that was like my first TV show, like, streaming on Comedy Central, Paramount Plus, and kind of working the TV side also and kind of getting new to that. And that just came through as a role from my agent. He just hit me up and was just like, "Hey, I got this role for you." And I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna shoot my shot." Didn't really think much of it. Kind of, my whole mentality is like I do the auditions and I try to forget about it. Just because, it's like I think one of the things you learn in this industry very quickly is like the chances for you to act are so few. So it's like you're auditioning so much for for like a small percentage of yeses, that it's almost better to just do the audition and just forget about it. And then if they call you back, they call you back. And either way, you're on to the next one. So I really kind of I've been working on that mentality, and it's works well for me. But anyways, going back around full circle, it's something I just auditioned for, I think early last year, and just kind of forgot about it. And then then I got a call back and I was like, oh damn, well, this is working. And then basically they're sad. It was a really short callback, and they're like, yeah. And my agent called me, is like, how would you like to be this cop on Inside Amy Schumer? I was like, let's do it. And then he sent me the contracts, and a couple weeks after that I was on set. And it was cool. It was a cool experience, like getting a trailer and stuff like that for the first time, and just like operating in that environment. And also just seeing like, small indie projects that I'm working on, which I love. It's just like a very different style of making film than like big TV. Like, just any film project, every 20 people on set or something like that you're dealing with. And then, like on Inside Amy Schumer, was like 200 people going around, like extras, background. There's like multiple producers saying stuff. Like Amy Schumer is like rewriting my lines on the set. She's like, actually, don't say that line, say this other line. I'm like, hey, whatever you say, it's your show. And it's just seeing like how it works at different levels was a good lesson in itself. And so yeah, so it's something that I've kind of taken with me and something I've become a little bit more comfortable with. So, but yeah.
So are you a SAG actor now, or are you SAG eligible?
Yeah, so I'm SAG eligible, like one more TV project and I have to go SAG. I could, and SAG eligible is like, I could join SAG right now, but the reality is, you know, it's like I've been told like don't do it unless you have to, because there's a lot of great independent films out here that are not SAG per se, and it's great to get that experience before you have to join SAG, because when you join SAG, you can't do any more non-union stuff. Um, so so yeah, but I mean, I foresee it's gonna happen like pretty quickly. So, uh, um, kind of looking forward to it. But also, it's just I have like a lot of other friends who are working on like smaller projects that aren't non-union. And I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that anymore." But after that happens, but it's just it's the logical progression of like a career in this industry is like eventually like that's the kind of like the major league of projects. Um, and so it's like you got to go that direction eventually if you want to do it at higher and higher level. So yeah, so I'm just like right on that edge, but yeah, pushing towards it. So
Favorite breakfast meal?
oh man. I mean, I'm just a simple cereal. My cinnamon toast crunch like holds it down. Like that's how it's been since I've been a little kid. I'm sticking with it.
Favorite late night snack?
My favorite late night snack. Honestly, it's like the Toll House cookie bars, like not the cookie sandwiches specifically, like the tops they have like the M&Ms in it, and then it's got the vanilla in the middle. Man, I just be waking up, I'd have the wrap around me, just like, what happened? Late night snack, man. It'll give me every time.
Favorite travel destination?
Oh man, my favorite travel destination. It's gotta be somewhere with a beach. Um, that's a good question. Good question. Good question. I honestly say, I grew up in California originally, and I grew up in Northern California, but I love traveling to Southern California, like San Diego, like the LA area, like the beaches and stuff like that. I'm really a fan of like just that type of vibe, like just relaxing, and it's just, I don't know, peaceful, serene, and the weather is nice, and it's just being like near the ocean. Um, so yeah, I gotta say just like Southern California beaches. That's where it's at for me.
Film or TV?
Film or TV?
Which one will you take?
As of oh dang. Uh, Honestly, TV. That's such a hard because there's so many examples of great on both sides of like it. But honestly, I'll just say I'm biased towards film because that's kind of what I first like fell in love with. Like growing up, I honestly didn't. I watched some TV, but I watched way more movies. Like I like, and that was something like me and my dad and my like siblings bonded over. Like we just spent all the time watching movies. So I have like a soft spot in my heart, definitely for like full films. Um, but there's so much great TV out that this is very very they're kind of like neck and neck. But if I had to choose, I'm gonna say film.
Your top three favorite actors of all time.
My top three actors of all time. Of all time. Oh, um, let's see. I mean, I feel like it's kind of cliche, but I mean, like Denzel's obviously up there. Um, let me see if I can like choose one from like each generation of artists. I think like there's Denzel's up there. I mean, like Viola Davis is just amazing. Um, Who else? Who else? Who else? I mean, I also love Christian Bale too. Like, I think he has just like such a. I mean, it's so hard to pick. Honestly, it's so hard to pick. But those are the first three I said. We're going with them. Like,
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. So, where can we follow you and your work? Or whether it's social, you could feel free to mention social media, website, mention anything.
yeah, honestly, I don't use my social media that much, but I would have to say that's probably the place that I probably post stuff when I'm my finished projects when they're out to be viewed and all that. So yeah, that's just Marcus Marcus and then rs.x on Instagram mainly. And yeah, that'd probably be the spot.
Marcus, thank you once again for taking time to do this interview with me. I'm looking forward to see more of your stuff. I got to check out that episode of Inside Amy Schumer. I saw a snip of it on your Instagram, so I got to check that out. But man, much respect and praise to your work. And like I said, ever since we met when we did that commercial, we stayed connected through social media. But I'm looking forward to the future and see what you're gonna come up with.
Yeah, man. Likewise, likewise. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Cool, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you for bringing me on too.
I hope you all enjoy the interview. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You guys know my message, the motto: have mutual respect, mutual love, and mutual admiration. So stay tuned for the next episode.